Hey guys, we're back. Week 8 just finished up. Good to have you all here. As you
Yeah,
guys can see on the bottom of the screen, we will be having a special guest joining us shortly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
let's
yeah,
kick it off. Let's go.
and better week for some of us than others, but start with the NFL. Start with the NFL before we get into the actual week. So yeah, I guess first two stories. Seeing two teams that we weren't necessarily expecting to be contenders out of the NFC. I mean, one NFC's been pretty, I think, just surprising this year in terms of the teams that have been on top. You think
Lack
the
of
NFC, the whole
quality.
NFC East.
And besides
Yeah,
NFC
just the
East, lack of quality. I'm gonna
best
say
division in football, NFC East. But besides that, it's just like been a crapshoot. No, you think about the Saints, Packers, Bucks, like teams that we were expecting to be
Rams,
at the top.
49ers.
Rams, Niners, not doing it.
But these
Vikings and
two
Seattle are
teams,
doing it. They're
I mean,
consistent.
Vikings have won like 5 in a row now. They
Yeah,
play our Commanders next week.
Just traded for TJ Hawkinson today too, which is a pretty big
Wild trade.
That's pretty big or acquisition for them to have Hawkinson, Thielen, and then Justin Jefferson. Like Hawkinson, I think has top 5, like in just the NFL, forget fantasy. Like he's potential to be one of the better tight ends in the league. To have him now with Herb, I guess Herb Smith's on IR now, but when Herb Smith comes back potentially later in the season, those two top receivers, Dalvin Cook, Vikings are like a real threat of a team. And Seattle's not doing bad either. Geno's carrying. He's doing his thing.
Let me ask you, Anthony, between these two teams, which are contenders, which are frauds? What are their ceilings, I'll say? Tell me what you think their ceilings are for this season.
While I don't think it's going to happen, I do think the Vikings could win a Super Bowl. I think it could happen. I don't think Seattle has that in them. I don't think Geno Smith is not like a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like, I don't know, not to say that Kirk Cousins is, but I think I have a bit more faith in Kirk Cousins, just being reliable, doing what he's been doing pretty much his whole career, not turning over the ball, making smart decisions, getting it to his best players. Geno's been doing it this year, but we haven't seen him do it in the playoffs yet. We haven't seen him do it enough. So not to say that he can't, but just don't have a lot of faith in that. And, their teams, I think down to Kenneth Walker now, a running back. Metcalf's already a little banged up. I don't know. It seems like some things might start falling out of place.
That's fair. Before we move on, I'll quickly just say I agree. Seahawks ceiling probably first round of playoffs, second round max. Vikings, I'm actually going to disagree there. I think best case scenario, they make it to the NFC Championship. I don't see them. I think Kirk cracks under pressure. It's his one flaw. He didn't take us anywhere in the playoffs the one year he took us there. I also don't really want to think about I hate to say it, but I don't want to see him.
It would be kind of brutal to see him win a Super Bowl in Minnesota. Like that would be disappointing with us having Carson Wentz. But I wouldn't be, but less. I would expect that more than Seattle at this point in time, based off what we've seen. I think Vikings have a better chance. All right, so we'll, I guess, get into a few more stories for the week. I'll let you start with the upset.
Awesome. Yeah. Upset of the week. I think there weren't too many surprising upsets. You could say the Patriots, Jets, but then again, like Jets aren't, true contenders. Let's be real. We ended up going with the Browns Bengals. Bengals were kind of favored coming into this game. They just lost Jamar Chase, obviously, but Browns
offense has been rolling for them.
They were falling off. They needed that win. The whole team looked great, honestly. I think that was clearly the upset of the week. Nobody's surprised. I think Bengals were pretty much shut out the whole game till the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I'm surprised, but like as you can say, like the AFC North, that's probably the Ravens division, but I don't know if the Bengals can keep up without Jamar. We'll have to see.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how their offense, if their offense is able to bounce back from losing Jamar for the next weeks. How is Joe Burrow and the rest of that team going to kind of deal with that? And getting on to the blowout, pretty clear one. The Saints, really not even the Saints. Alvin Kamara beat the Raiders on Sunday. It was just, did he get, one receiving touchdown and I think 2 rushing touchdowns was the
something like that.
Stat line for him? Yeah, so I have him in another league and he went off for me, but this didn't do anything for me here. But I mean, carried them against the Raiders. The Raiders don't look. I feel like people have the Raiders as like a dark horse, like kind of sleeper team, like the idea of Derek Carr, Devontae, that defense, has some pieces, Josh Jacobs, but the Raiders are just being the Raiders, and they're the worst
They're
team in that
frauds.
division. Yeah, I would say they are exactly where they're supposed to be. It's interesting. I mean, they're just exactly where they're supposed to be. And it's interesting to think, I was reading something like, do you think the Packers, just looking at where the Packers are right now and where the Raiders are right now, and Devontae's performance, maybe both sides, I feel like that's kind of a lose-lose situation at the end of the day for both parties in terms of winning. Devontae obviously gets his money, maybe other motivations. He gets to be in Vegas, all types of things to go with that. But the Raiders are worse. The Raiders aren't really benefiting from that up until this point, and the Packers, I mean, there's no telling what's going to happen with them. So
yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah, before we welcome our guest, we'll do our Commanders check-in as per usual. As you can see, another dub. We take that 4-4. Heineke's spiking the ball, pretty happy about that. I mean, all around, we were, I think, leading for part of the game. Then it kind of it was a back and forth. I think you could say Heineke like played well when it mattered. McLaurin played well when it mattered. Those two pretty much won us the game there at the end.
I mean, that last play, that last catch was just crazy. McLaurin, like the way he ripped that from Gilmore, and Gilmore's not like a random
top corner there
either. He's one of the consistent top corners in the league. McLaurin just won that from him and won us the game with that. So, and I think it's definitely like, say what you want about Heineke. You could say he's not a franchise QB, and I don't necessarily disagree with that statement, but he wins games and he plays hard. Like win or loss, I enjoy rooting for him as my QB more than I did with Wentz for sure, more than I forget who who was starting before Wentz. I don't even remember now.
Alex Smith, I guess, right?
Alex Smith, I guess. Yes, Haskins. Oh, Haskins. There was someone else, like, I feel like there was someone else who started before us. Fitzpatrick, I guess. But he was like out for the whole season. But I don't know. Regardless, Heineke is fun to watch, interesting to like. He's just fun. He plays hard. He puts his all into it, and he's exciting, and he wins. So we're looking good. NFC East is looking good, and we keep putting together wins. Who knows? Maybe we sneak into a wild card. Maybe
you never know. Giants fall off. We get some wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess now we're letting him in. Let's see.
Here he is.
All right.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Our guest for the week.
Yusuke.
Yo, what's up? How we doing?
Man?
There we go.
Those are some funny pictures.
Like
yeah, I would say more historical evidence that like we know these people, and that is the thing that we have been doing.
This isn't.
So yeah, I guess. Yeah,
How we doing?
We'll hand it off to. So we're good. We've been talking about the league a little bit. We'll hand it off to you. We'll let you talk about your team, talk about yourself a little bit. Just give us the rundown on Yusuke. Who is Yusuke?
I'm Yusuke. I exist. I went to high school with these guys.
Oh yeah.
A lot of great memories. A lot of stupid activities. No, but yeah. You guys been, boys with Jacob and Anthony for a long time now. Bricks.
Bricks.
And
so tell us a bit about your fantasy team. Third year in the league. Obviously
second.
Oh yeah, then that's a mistake. It said 2 playoff appearances for you.
You might have taken ownership from someone else. You might have like replaced.
No, I saw because like I was looking through that. And it's like I took over Adam Park's team and he had gone like 3 and like,
Adam made the playoffs.
it was like 3 and 11 or something.
But you did make the playoffs in your 1 year in the league last year.
Yeah. So basically, like I've always played fantasy football growing up. But I decided to like take a break for a few years because like it was taking up too much of time. Like, too much of my time was like an obsession. I was playing, I was like always checking. So I was just like,
Yeah.
took a break. And then Jacob texted me like a few years back and he was like, want to play? And that time I was like, no, because I was like, I can't get sucked back into this. Like, but then like last year I was like, oh man, I kind of miss fantasy football. So I think I texted Jacob being like, hey, like if you ever like if a spot opens up, like I'd love to hop in. So I did last year, did pretty well, finished third in the league, lost to Anthony in the playoffs. Just kind of a bummer, but it's okay because he went on to beat Joel. So and that
You know,
like, that must have felt good because he was what 13-1 that year.
I won for everyone. So, you know, I feel like that was a better outcome.
When Anthony wins, America wins, right?
Yeah. It was a win for the whole league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell us a bit about your team this year. How you feeling about
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
Your whole roster?
So if you guys have been following the podcast, everyone knows I've had a really rough start. I had a really rough
Hey,
start.
me and you both, man.
Yeah, no, but I lost to you though. So I was like, I was the only team that was 0-4 at one point. I was in danger of being an 0-5, but I beat Ian by like what 0.7, something like that.
That was a crazy game.
Third season around.
Yeah, and I'm 3-5 now. So climbing back up the ranks. I actually have a shot at the playoffs, which is not where I expected to be like just a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
And so looking at my team, like Jalen Hurts has been carrying my team. Like, well, he's tried his best because my team was kind of, they're all being bummy at the beginning. Kamara, like at the beginning was just really killing me.
Yeah.
I slept through a London game when he wasn't playing.
Oh yeah, that was my game.
So he gave me a fat 0 that week. That's my fault though. I didn't set an alarm. I just always forget about the London games, man.
Yeah, dude. Screw those.
They're always like dumb, like they're always like pretty bad games too.
Oh yeah.
Word.
Broncos, Jaguars. Are you kidding me?
Like I slept
Broncos game.
I woke up at noon on Sunday morning. I slept right through that.
Oh, me too, dude. Me too.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevens is a pleasant surprise. I knew he had talent, but I didn't expect him to like take over like the lead back role. But he's completely just like getting touches over Damian Harris now. So that's been great for him. He's like a top 10 running back so like this year. And he's really come on like my entire team's come on in the last few weeks. Adams, okay, he kind of shit the bed last week. But that's more, I blame Derek Carr for being a terrible quarterback.
That's on him.
As opposed to like Devontae Adams being a bad receiver. Like I can't really fault him for that. He'll be fine. T. Higgins, now that Chase is injured, will be a dog. He's been a dog. He will be even more of a dog.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Waller's been injured consistently. He's kind of screwed me multiple weeks. But I have faith that he'll turn it around because he's at the end of the day, he's still one of the best receiving tight ends in football.
Oh yeah.
So around the flex area is where it gets a little bit iffy for my team, I would say, because I think I have good depth, but there's no one who's like a lock at flex. And I guess that's the point of having a flex. But like if you had a really good flex, that's like your team is awesome. But for a lot of us, I feel like we struggle with that flex position. So it's been a mix of like Singletary, Zeke,
Lazard.
Like I haven't played Lazard once this year.
Oh, he's been solid.
Yeah,
he's been quietly solid.
Gabe Davis and Carter, like I guess maybe not Carter as much, but Gabe Davis for sure.
Yeah, I played Gabe.
I mean, you have options on the bench. It's just like kind of a week to week thing. You got to get the matchups right. See who gets a touchdown, who gets more targets. It's like it's a crapshoot.
But it's so hard to predict, and that's my thing.
So hard, dude.
And so that's kind of the rundown for my team. I think I have a pretty good team. I don't think my record reflects that, but I think I'm pretty optimistic for the season going forward.
Yeah, I mean 3-5, you're still alive.
Yeah, I think I'm in good shape.
Yeah. Well, then let's take a look at the scores from this past week. As you guys can see, moved to 4-4 after the 0-3 start. Barely taking down Joel, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tony Pollard. I love you guys. I swear to God, I love you guys. And then Dameon Pierce won me my game, so shout out to him too. A touchdown that didn't even matter. Shout out. I know I'm going off right now, but I'm super excited about that.
Gotta love garbage time.
Oh yeah, dude. That wins fantasy games. That decides fantasy games half the time.
Word.
yeah, Matt Cohen took down Adwin. Adwin been falling recently a little bit. Matt Cohen also 3-0 in his last 3 games. Both me and him 3-0 streaks. Aren't you on
Alex?
too? You said? Sorry.
Yeah, I think 2 or
Haven't
yeah,
you
you
won
guys
3 in
won
a
2
row,
or
you
3.
said?
Yeah,
I have.
yeah, he's on 5.
Or 3
Or
out
you
of
were
4.
No, I was 1 and 5. No, I'm 2 and wait.
You're 3
No,
and
no, yeah, and I
You
haven't
won
won
3 out of your last 4.
All right.
I
3
won
out of
3
your
out of my
last
last
4.
4.
Either
Yeah.
way, that's
Yeah.
impressive. Hats off to you. You took down Matt L. I'm so glad Matt lost.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Yeah.
It's like when Matt L loses, America wins. Then that's another common thread
That's
there.
really that's what this is really about. Just seeing him, like
Just
seeing
watching his
team go down.
downfall. Exactly.
Exactly.
But we're all praying on his downfall. We all hope he gets
Word.
last.
Oh yeah.
I would say in the midst of that, though, I am still losing. I am now. It's another, and I mean, we'll get into it a little bit more, but I don't know what more to do with my team. Like I just don't know. I don't think this is my season. I think this is like this has to happen to everyone. Everyone has those years, and I think this is just my non-playoff year. I think I'm out of this season.
Before we move on, as you can see, Sammy, as we predicted on the episode last week, lost to Alex. We thought it'd be a close game, but Alex has a solid team on paper. His team's
Alex might be. I was saying this was how last season went. The one undefeated team only lost once in the regular season, and ended up winning the championship. I feel like Alex's team is good, and
I had to bet.
I could
and I'm a better.
I am a betting man.
I am a betting man. And I would throw my money on somebody besides me. If I had to throw my money on somebody.
Listen, as someone who had Austin Eckler on his team last season, he is a league-winning type running back. He's just that good. He's him. And combine that with Josh Allen. I mean, yeah, his team's top heavy, but those 2 players are just absolute studs.
You got to have players like that in the playoffs, in the finals, who are going to win games for you like that. Alex has those players and just has a solid team. Like I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the top ends up playing out once we get to the playoffs, how some of those matchups end up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, quick standings recap. So obviously just went over the lineups, but I am now last place officially. I'm in the red, 2 and 6. It's disappointing. Adwin right above me. Yusuke and Jacob, y'all are both up now. Jacob up to 500.
I'm in the playoffs right now, baby. Let's
go.
Wait, guys, that's a typo. I'm above Matt L. I have 863. He's got 853.
Oh, I must have flipped you too. Yeah.
I can't take that level of disrespect. I can't take that.
You're the 7th.
Both of you are ahead of Matt.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's okay. We'll get your get back on.
Hey, and we both beat Matt L back-to-back weeks.
And yeah, exactly. We're contributing to his spiral, and that feels good.
Oh yeah, feels good to help the league out, help the nation out.
Yeah, exactly.
God
8th place, soon to be 10th place.
Oh yeah.
But I think definitely seeing. I guess it's kind of clear. There's like the top 3 that's kind of forming. I guess 4. You could say the top 4 teams all with
Matt Cohen's sneaky. Points. Matt Cohen's sneaky.
Very sneaky.
I know. That's why those are the highest scoring teams. They're kind of. I think they're going to end up having those highest records. But the last 2 playoff spots. I mean, I'm not going to I don't really think I'm too seriously. I need to win 2 games before I can legitimately think about making the playoffs. But the rest of y'all, it's open. It's whoever does better these next few weeks is really going to determine who and put themselves in solid position to make it and just make themselves secure going into the final weeks of the regular season.
Definitely.
Tight race. It's a tight race.
I mean, I want to make it.
I know.
We'll see though. I think Joel can fall. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So I guess we'll let you talk about your matchup a little bit more. The L you handed to Matt. We just have to put it on display a little bit more.
That was a decisive L I handed to Matt. I mean, look at this guy. He's got the Commanders defense on his bench. I can't lose to someone. Come on. All
What's
right.
he doing?
I don't know. He's got 3 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks and a defense.
That might be the worst team I've ever seen.
That's one of the wildest benches I've ever seen.
Wait a minute.
That's so weird, dude.
Wait. Sorry, I need a minute.
One, I feel like he deserved to lose just for starting Derek Carr. Like that was just awful.
1 point, bro. Yeah, that's GG's right there. If your QB
David
puts up
Montgomery-
less than 3 points, you deserve to lose.
Yeah, I say
No.
over. David Montgomery, he's not like. I feel like we were talking about that. We both lost that trade. That was like one of the most irrelevant fantasy trades ever because no one has meant anything from it. And David Montgomery's garbage. Khalil Herbert's better than him and is doing better than him now. So doesn't really matter. He has Justin Jefferson and Tyreek, but it doesn't matter when Kamara scores 3 touchdowns and AJ Brown catches 3 for Hurts and Nick Folk scores more than almost anyone on Matt's team. Like you're not going to lose when that happens.
God damn. Nick Folk has won you games, right?
Yeah, he won me
Literally.
that game against Ian too. He dropped like 19 points that week.
Yeah.
Nick Folk
Oh.
sneaky under because the Patriots can't
kickers are
close in the red
clutch.
zone.
I won
Yeah,
a game
kickers-
from Jason Myers. I'm not going to count them out.
Listen, yeah, Nick Folk he's been inconsistent because the Patriots offense has been inconsistent, but one thing the Patriots offense can't do is score touchdowns. And so that means that's a lot of field goal opportunities. And
Yeah.
he's won me games. My 3rd highest scorer, when Adams had 0.7. But yeah, this week it's all about Kamara and Hurts. They killed it. Alvin Kamara finally broke through. I've been waiting. People said he was washed. I don't think he's washed. I think he's still that 3 down back.
Taysom Hill was outrunning him a few games. It was looking a little crazy to start the season. I can't lie.
But
Kamara, but I think he's found his groove though. He's getting the touches and he gets receptions too for PPR. Like he's a pretty sure thing.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely just like very excited going forward. And I think like 38 points. He's not going to do that every week, but he's a true 3 down back, and there's not that many of them in the league. So I still have a lot of faith in him. Yeah, and Hurts obviously just dog every week, dog.
Animal.
Lock for 30 points at least.
Crazy deep passes to AJ Brown into double coverage. It doesn't matter. It's a touchdown every single time.
Yeah, and it benefits you. You're an Eagles fan, so
exactly.
Win-win.
Winning play.
I can't get Heineke on my team playing him every week,
Should just draft the Eagles roster. They've been going off.
Yeah, that would be a good choice. Anthony, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so you're talking about the Eagles roster. Miles Sanders contributed to my loss this week. I actually feel like this was one of this. I didn't like check, but this is one of my best weeks of the season, which makes this even more infuriating for me. Like my team did so well. Algier finally did something for me. I was like, oh my God, he like got points, put up a touchdown. I think the difference was, and it ended up being Kyle Pitts, who has done nothing all year long. And finally, Atlanta has decided we're gonna treat him like the number 4 overall pick. So he went off this week. Higbee did nothing because the Rams are garbage, even though he's been their second best receiver all year. Like, I don't know. That decision is really what killed me. But on beyond that though, it's only so frustrating that I can be. McCaffrey ran and caught a touchdown. Like, I don't know. That's kind of is what it is. Amari Cooper had his best game of the year. Taysom should not be a tight end. That's like just kind of cheating, but it's like, I don't know. It's fine. Like I'm mad, and it's frustrating, but it just kind of is what it is. I just got to take my licks. I'm confident Chubb's on bye this next week, so I don't, I'm probably, and we'll look at it later, but I'm probably going to take an L next week and be 2-7 or whatever. So, like, at this point, I don't really know where I go from here. Like, the whole Chubb Henry thing was a good plan, and then McCaffrey just beat it. So, I don't there's nowhere really for me to go from here. I'm kind of screwed.
Ian complains a lot about Kyler Murray for, him dropping 25 points.
That's God. You take that.
I'm taking that, yeah. I thought like the way he was talking about it, I thought he was dropping like 10 points.
He threw, I think, like he had 2 interceptions. I think there was a point in time he had more, but there was like he dropped a few points. Like he was at like 14 or something, like in the third quarter or something, which is when I was feeling good. I was like, all right, maybe I'll win. And then of course, everything.
And then McCaffrey has the triple crown game.
That was crazy.
Oh my
God.
God.
I mean, I just
at that point,
I was literally like the anger that I felt. I stopped watching. Like I didn't watch the Sunday night football game. I was done with football. I couldn't do like
I get to that point sometime. Early in the season, that was me, bro. I was like, I'm done. I'm not watching Monday night.
I was like, are you kidding me? Like I just like, what am I supposed to do? There's nothing that like I lose no matter what. I get no joy out of it. So I had to take my L there. But we'll finish off with more positive result for you, baby. Jacob.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have same page as Anthony. I put 136 up before Sunday night, and I would have been pissed if I lost. But it was a close game. I think I was only up like 25. Joel had Tyler Boyd and Mixon left against the Browns, and I was scared. I mean, Boyd is basically the new Jamar. He's obviously not as good as Jamar, but he's the number 1 guy now there, apparently. I mean, Higgins is the thing is on that offense, like either any
such a high volume offense,
150 and 2 touchdowns. But just with Chase out and then dude, his whole team went off and it was killing me. Deontay Foreman had 30 points, I think. Like
that man's a dog.
I was really mad at one point. The DJ Moore catch, dude. I was about to kill somebody when he caught that. We can't record this anymore. We gotta cut it. But dude, and then Dalvin Cook obviously returned to himself. Yeah, and then I mean it came out of Monday night, as I said. Tyler Boyd, Mixon couldn't put up 25 points. I watched that whole game, so nervous, but thank God my boys pulled it out. Shout out D-Hop, shout out Pierce, shout out Pollard.
Shout out Danny Dimes for a stinker.
Oh, dude, thank God for that stinker, man. Thank God Seahawks D. Let's go.
I love that every year there are like a few weeks where they really like they project him like he's about to be like a dirty QB, and then it's like back to earth. No, this is
4 points, 5 points.
So let's remember who he is.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like if he gets a run play or not, like a big running play. Exactly. Like it kind of determines his value. He's not, because we know we're damn sure he's not throwing the ball
well. Oh no, he is not. I mean, to what receivers?
They traded Tony
Robinson.
Oh, he's a dog though. Wando Robinson's a dog.
Oh yeah, all right. Let's take a look at next week. You two are facing off, right? Big week here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if Yusuke wins this, Anthony is eliminated.
I'm out of the playoff. Yeah, okay.
I don't want to say
like
it,
a race to last place for me.
Listen, I'm not keeping the Falcons D in there. Just
I mean, yeah, it's not completely updated. I mean, projection wise, you're looking fine. Obviously, he has, I think, a player on bye. I think a kicker, but
yeah, that's
only not gonna make a difference.
7. You're gonna be up by like 15 points on me still, probably a little more, and I don't know. Like there's nothing for me to do. Also, people, I have 2 tight ends starting right now.
Are you really starting? Are you really gonna? Is that like?
I did that initially because they were saying that like when I put that in, they were talking about Cup may not play this week, and I was thinking, oh, maybe we'll get more targets. But it seems like Cup is going to play, so that is definitely not going to happen. But I don't have like anyone better. It's like who I'm going to start? Hunter Renfrow? Am I going to count on Antonio Gibson?
Go get Rondale Moore
again for him. There's nothing for me to do. Like I think I need to wait for waivers to process, see who's left around, and then just kind of make some decisions from there. But I might just start Higbee and Pitts. I don't know. Like I need a kicker, and yeah, I don't know. Just not a lot of good options for me at this point.
I think the best player on the waivers was probably like Rondale Moore.
Yeah,
but I don't even know if he's like
he's
that good. He's just very
24 and then 2 next game, and then
a win for me this week is really counting on your team like underperforming, and Well, I'm supposed to bet against Jalen Hurts. Like, I mean, just look at it. Look at all the checks
Hurts
you have.
against
Look at all the
Houston. That's
players you have. There's
30
no way.
points there. Lock for 30 points. Kamara against Baltimore. That's probably 15 points.
At
Stevenson
least.
against the Colts, 10 at least.
Adams is gonna bounce back. I think I would
Adams
actually bet the
against
most on
Jaguars, that's
Adams.
20
Yeah,
at
he's
least.
bouncing back this week.
And Waller maybe too.
Yeah, Waller, I
He'll probably
think
combine for 30. at least.
Raiders are probably gonna have a big week. That'll be my guess.
Maybe.
Higgins, #1 target now for Joe Burrow. Burrow's gonna bounce back too. Against Carolina. They have a pretty good defense, but I don't think they're gonna stop, I think I'm in good
Yeah,
shape.
just your lineups make me feel like I think your team is just going to go off again this week, and I think my team is going to have another dud. Like I think it's going to be brutal. I think.
I hope so.
Probably not going to watch football outside of the Commanders game on Sunday.
I mean, we're gonna get killed by probably the Vikings. It's not even worth watching that game.
TJ
We're
Hawkinson,
dirty.
big trade.
Dude, that was crazy. That was-
What
This, okay,
were the
can we
Lions
just
thinking?
briefly say this was like the craziest NFL trade deadline ever. Like this felt like an NBA trade deadline constantly, but like I feel like it was every like 10, 15 minutes. Schefter was having the
Dealing,
best day
man.
of his
It was
life.
busy. Dude, I think Calvin Ridley trade kind of shocked me. I didn't really suspect him to be dope. It was a little weird to me. But Bradley
They're-
Chubb too. That was a big trade.
Chubb,
Yeah, I'm kind of mad Cam
Wilson,
Akers
the
didn't get traded.
Dolphins.
Mhm.
Naeem Hines. I don't know if Hines. Hines is a bit of a confusing one to me. I don't know if that's going to impact Singletary that much. Like that's kind of interesting. Like you don't trade for him if you're not going to use him, but I don't see how he fit. Like I don't know. That's a weird one.
So he's probably gonna fill in that Zach Moss role as the kind of the receiving change of pace back. I think
But I feel like
Singletary.
Zach Moss wasn't even like getting burned really. I feel like James Cook was getting more of those touches.
Yeah, it
than
seems like they don't
Moss
really
at this
trust
point.
James Cook, which is kind of weird because
Yeah.
he's been really efficient
They-
when he plays.
And they drafted him in the
Mhm.
second round too. That's the
Yeah.
other thing where I was like, why are you drafting
Big
running
point.
back that high to then trade for Hines?
I don't
And you
know.
had Zach Moss too. Like it's where
And
like they do just
Singletary.
have like a collection of like mid running backs, and they're just trying to see like who will be good out of that. Which I mean, I guess fair. Like Hines isn't bad. I think Hines is better than Zach Moss, but
I think for
weird.
this
That's
week
weird.
it might hurt you, Anthony, because I don't think they'll play Hines that much this
Probably
week.
not.
where that's true. Well, I don't know. It's early. It's Tuesday. It's early
It's
in
against
the
the
week. They
Jets.
might.
You never know.
Jets have a good defense.
But I do think I think game script is going to be a big thing. But you're right, probably anyway. Like they can't first weekend. We've seen that with James Robinson. Some of the other trades. They're never going to be like fully integrated. The first week is going to take a little bit. So understandable. McCaffrey as well. It's like you
Yeah,
didn't drop a triple crab the first week, the second week. So it takes time to figure those things out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
All right. Before we let you go, we want to ask you any closing remarks, any fantasy advice you have, any like season
Yeah.
outlook. How do you think your team will do? Anything fantasy you want to talk about? Now's your time.
Well, first of all, I love this graphic. This is perfect. This is everything I ever wanted. So thank you for that.
I just wanted to represent really what you did to Matt and what what everyone's team intends on doing to Matt for the remainder of the season. This is the goal. This is what we aspire to, and you did it last week. So we just want to thank you. We applaud you.
Thank you. Yeah. Closing remarks. I think, my team's, I'm very optimistic about my team. I think, hopefully I can sneak into the playoffs.
Possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed that Cam Akers wasn't traded because I did pick up Kyron Williams and I thought that was like such a smart pickup. But now it's
I mean,
looking
it was a smart pickup, but just
It still
Akers,
could
I don't
be.
know
Like,
why
you
I
never
didn't.
know.
Yeah.
I still don't know if they'll use Akers. Like
it's
Yeah.
weird.
he hasn't been super effective when he does play, so I don't know.
last year,
Um,
this year he's been awful.
Yeah. So I mean, and it seems like they never really trust Henderson, even though he's actually a pretty good running back. Like, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, definitely excited for the how the rest of the season shakes out. Fantasy advice for people who don't have quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson's coming back. And so,
Good shout.
yeah,
That's a good shout out. Honestly, I
yeah.
might go pick him up this week. I kind of
There
need
you
it.
go.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know if he's on waivers for us or not. I mean, I would imagine he's on waivers for most people. Like,
Is he,
He's
is
a
he
top
on-
10 quarterback.
Can you
if he,
use him
if he
as an
plays.
IR spot? Can you put him?
yeah,
Is that
No,
real?
because I couldn't put D Hop there. I couldn't put D Hop there.
That's kind of foul. If you
I
can
feel
put
like you
him.
can put any player who's out in your IR spot. I swear.
Huh.
I'm also-
We'll try it out tomorrow after.
I'm gonna go pick him up if he's a free agent. So
I was thinking about picking up Odell. I don't know if that was,
Mm,
but he's
another
coming off
shaky-
but he's coming off a second torn ACL, so that's the one thing.
shaky.
it also depends on where he goes to. Like, I don't know. I don't even know where he would go. Like,
I saw a rumor for the Giants, which if he goes
Yeah.
there, I don't need him.
I don't want to pick him up. Daniel Jones is throwing to him. No, and like, he should be the quarterback.
If he goes to the
He should
Packers
just
though,
start.
That
Packers
so
would be dirty. Packers would be dirty.
so that's something I'm gonna be keeping an eye on. I don't know why I just revealed that, but I'm on the podcast. So
It's exposed. Everyone
Gotta
knows.
give it up. Yeah.
They're gonna be gone off the waivers if you haven't picked them up yet.
yeah.
Well, thank you so
well-
much for coming on our show, man. We
Yeah,
really
thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
I appreciate
I
it.
mean, for having me. It was
Yeah,
good seeing you guys.
great talking to you, man.
All right,
Talk to
I'll
you
catch you
soon.
guys. All right, see ya.
Bye.
All right, so we got another guest out of the way. Yusuke done. We're obviously hoping to beat him next week, but I don't know. We'll obviously not feeling too optimistic about that. We'll see how that goes. But I guess we'll get into Jacob's matchup now for next week.
Oh yeah.
Who we were just talking about as one of the league favorites, maybe. So this is a big matchup for you.
I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared. His team is scary on paper. I saw he has. I think it's somebody big's on bye. I can't remember who.
Must be a
maybe-
receiver.
I think it's a receiver that he has on bye because Curtis Samuel and Josh Palmer is kind of beat. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I would say it's got to be a receiver.
I think he has Keenan Allen. But yeah, I mean, who?
CD and Ayuk are both on bye.
Yeah. See,
And
like
Mike Williams is hurt. Bateman is out. Yeah, all his receivers are just like.
he doesn't have receivers. I think that's my strong suit. I have to win that. D Hop has to go for 20 plus and outscore both those receivers. I think
Seattle's secondary has been good though with those young corners. I mean, D Hop is
D Hop is D Hop.
D Hop is D Hop.
D Hop. I don't care who you put on him. D Hop.
I think that'll be it'll be interesting. I think that'll be a good test for that secondary to see like, all right, how young are they, or are they legit? Are the Seahawks really legit? I think that'll be a bigger test for their defense.
I agree. Yeah, aside from that, I'm still deciding about my receivers. I have Olave, Godwin in now, but I have Amon-Ra also who I can play. Jason Myers, love him. He'll go off. Number one kicker now. I didn't even notice that. Player ranking number one. What is it with me? I had Young-Ho, who he became the number one. Myers, number one. You love to see it. You guys see Jamal Williams in there. I don't love that. I'm currently trying to trade for a running back. We have about a month to our trade deadline.
I don't know. I feel like Jamal Williams is like, I mean,
Playable. He's playable.
He's playing well enough to where I feel like he kind of has a secure role in that offense. Like it's a weird thing to where it's like we're just like, all right, when is Swift going to get more touches? When is Swift going to get more touches? Maybe he's not. Maybe Jamal Williams just has like a secure role in this offense. When they get down into the red zone, they're going to give him some of those touches. I mean, granted, Swift's first week back from injury, it's a bit of, and I think game script also has a big thing to determine that. But this week will be a big test to see, like with Swift, another week back from injury, like maybe Jamal Williams is just going to get these touches, and in the red zone especially is going to be dangerous. Like I don't think that's a bad start at all.
It's not awful. I'm so deciding about it. I just think Swift will get more carries this game. He should. You think he'd be getting healthier. But yeah, I'm not too confident in my quarterback versus quarterback matchup. My running backs are probably going to get smoked by his. I need to make a move, I think, for running back to keep this close. Even if I don't, I think I can keep it within 20, hopefully. A win here puts me at 5-4, which would be insane. I'm not going to bet on, I wouldn't bet on myself here, but I wouldn't also be surprised if I won. I wouldn't be surprised. My team is solid. his team's pretty solid too, but he doesn't have his receivers. That's a big part.
I think you also got to consider in his projection, Hawkinson's projected for 10 points, or for
He just
8
got
points.
traded. He's not
He
going to
just
play
got
much.
traded. So what are we expecting out of? I mean,
I didn't
granted,
even see
he
it.
will probably start. Like I'm guessing he'll play, but how involved is he in the offense? Like
There's
you
a
know, it's
lot of
just
receivers there. Thielen, Jefferson, obviously, Osborne.
it'll be interesting to see what exactly happens there. Curtis Samuel is kind of like a hit or miss. If the Vikings are legit, that could go either way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could go like you got a shot here. You got a shot.
I think I have a chance. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Week 9 matchup. Hope I win. Let's go. Let's get in the sell high, buy low.
Yeah.
So high. My number one so high. Christian McCaffrey. I mean,
Never better.
Triple Crown. That's not happening again. That's not happening again. Yes, he'll have multiple touchdown games again. That'll happen. But Debo's going to be back. The offense is probably not going to revolve around him 100% going forward. I'd assume even if they do, if it does become around him, eventually they'll have to shift to focus back to Debo because he'll become wide open and
Elijah
eventually
Mitchell
start
also
evolving.
about to come back too. You think Jeff Wilson was kind of splitting with him anyway. Elijah Mitchell was the starting running back before.
Kittle and Ayuk too.
Carries and involved Ayuk, like
There's a lot of people there. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's someone that you can get a lot of value for now, and he's an RB1. I don't think many people are going to want to sell him, but someone definitely to consider if you get a lot of value for. Get some quality depth on your team if you need that.
And then for the other one, we're going with Devin Singletary. Now this is kind of in response to the trade deadline with Nyheim Hines going to Buffalo. Now it's probably not going to impact this week. So you have another week of Singletary. Like this really is going to be his peak value going into this next week, I think.
Oh yeah.
Because coming out of that, Hines it's an interesting trade. I think it's partly like the Colts maybe like offloading, like I think it's the last year of Hines' contract, so just getting draft compensation for him makes sense. But for Buffalo, you're not bringing him in if you're not using him. I think Buffalo, you think in the offseason, they targeted J.D. McKissick. They brought in James Cook. Like they
don't want Singletary.
They want that receiving back in their offense. They want someone to take those, third down roles and kind of be those third downs and be a bit more, just versatile out of their backfield. I think Hines does that for them, and that could start to eat at Singletary's touches and snaps. So
100%.
something to look out for as we get into the next few weeks. Maybe not this week immediately because it's his first week on the team, but coming up, it could end up being a
Keep
big
an eye on that. Definitely someone to consider so high.
And then buy low going into, I guess we got some more traded players. The first has already made a debut for his team, James Robinson. He was limited this past week for the Jets, but kind of a similar principle to Nyheim Hines, with the last one, the Jets feel like they're in a position where they can win. I mean, they're doing all right. And with the injury to Breece Hall, obviously, they wanted to bring in another running back. They have Michael Carter, but they didn't feel comfortable with that alone. I think the fact that they went out and they traded for Robinson, who is
he's been solid
starting running back, like no slouch at all. I think, again, you're not making that move if you're not going to actually use him. You're not bringing in a running back that talented to not play him. So while Carter did, kind of dominate the backfield this past week, I think he is probably going to be more of like a third down back for them. And Robinson, I would assume as we go forward, will end up taking more of the touches. It'll be interesting next year. I'm just curious, like when Hall is back and you have Robinson and you have Carter, who I think was like second or third round pick. I mean, a decently high pick for like what do you do in that backfield? You can't get all three of them on the field. So someone is going to have, I guess it's like not bad to have three good young running backs like that, but it's interesting, like that they were I think even more to show that they're going to use Robinson because doesn't really, for the future, it creates like a logjam in their running back room, but it's clear that they wanted something there now. And I think Robinson's going to, fill a void for them in that offense.
Yeah, he'll definitely be that guy. Another guy, more of a you don't really know what's going to happen here. Chase Claypool obviously traded to the Browns. It happened today, Tuesday.
Here's the thing, like what the Bears are just like not. They did a poor. I mean, the trading way of Roquan and then trading a second to get Claypool, like, it's just confusing to me. I feel like
It was weird. I mean, it did show me that they do want to help Fields out, which is obvious to me, and I think a lot of people. But I think Claypool is someone who can like come in there. They're going to be down in most of the games they're playing. Come in there, get a lot of volume, get a lot of receptions, hopefully, alongside Darnell Mooney. I mean,
I think that's the other thing. He's like Mooney's a bit like, I don't know. I think Mooney's like 5'11", 6 foot. Like Claypool is a bit more of a bigger
big guy.
X receiver. Like he's a guy who can. I think it just allow their offense to be a bit more versatile with their receivers. So.
He could get those red zone targets too. You never really know. Someone, I mean, they sent a lot for him. A 2nd-round pick's good value. He probably won't pan out this week, but I mean, if you try to trade for him now would be the time because he's probably not gonna do much this week. And I think the Steelers this Steelers offense was struggling. I think this helps out Pickens' value. That value rises. Deontay Johnson, that rises. So something to consider. Keep track of.
Yeah, Pickens.
Yeah. Let's get in those waiver wires. First one we have, biggest one in our league, top of the charts for flex position was Rondale Moore. Obviously, it's coming off a 19-point game against the Vikings, and he had a couple big plays there, which kind of sealed that 19-point performance. But I think it's more of a skeptical. Like it's a potential flex play at best.
I think he's taking the Marquise Brown role in that offense for right now. Like if Marquise Brown was still healthy, I would assume he would be doing what Rondell is doing right now. So, but I mean, because of that and because of how this offense runs, he's gonna get targets. He's gonna and this electric of a player he is. A lot of like yard after catch opportunities. Like he just just like get him across the field, just get him the ball in short yardage situations, and he has the speed and skill to get further. So he's worth taking a flyer on. There's no telling. He could break off a 40-yard reception, with 2 or 3 like 20-yard ones, and you have some flex off of that. Like it's
100%. Definitely someone to go pick up if he's available.
Yeah. And then the second one going with tight end, someone who I'm not gonna pick up because I was just about to start 2 tight ends, but Evan Ingram off the Jags, he's been pretty consistent, getting more consistent in this offense. He picked up 13.5 points this past week. He, I think, has gotten, say his past 4 weeks, 9.9, 6.5, 8.7, and then the 13.5 last week.
That's solid.
At least 6 targets in all 4 of those games. I think he's definitely starting to become more of a just a sure part of that offense. And I think Evan Ingram's always been like kind of a good prototypical tight end, even when he was in New York. Like he wasn't, I guess, showing his full potential, but athletic, big, strong guy who can make yards after the catch. He's like just like the Kelsey mold, just like the mold of what people want for tight ends, the Kelsey, Kittle, like that type of thing. He has the measurables for that, and he's starting to hit that potential more in Jacksonville. And I think it's interesting. I mean, I've seen parts of Jacksonville's last few games, and Trevor Lawrence just is like not really able to. He's struggling to find some of his targets down the field more. I think that's why Christian Kirk did well in the season. He was in the slot, just getting like lots of targets, short underneath stuff. Ingram is now kind of developing, I think, a rapport as that safety valve, as the guy who's just available for Trevor Lawrence when the pocket collapses or, when things go wrong in a play. And that's good to have. Like that is valuable in an offense. So
100%. Yeah. He could become a solid piece on your team.
Yeah, I'll say
you pick him up.
No reason not to get him.
Definitely.
And then best matchups. So for me, it's like the only really good player on my team. I was thinking about Algier against the Chargers, but I think Cordell Patterson's available off of IR this week again. Like I think they can activate him. And I think that's another thing for this week. Like if they activate him, then that kind of removes Algier's value for me. So I'm gonna have to find another starter. But Derrick Henry going up against Kansas City. I mean, I think just Derrick Henry against anyone is like dirty now. And I think definitely just because of it depends on if Tannehill is back or not. But even still, like this offense just runs through Derrick Henry and Montreal Hillard. Like they run the ball, they're good at it. Not a lot of teams can stop Derrick Henry. He's gonna get the touches, so that's my best matchup. And hopefully, I'm not expecting him to recreate last week, but if he could pick up a touchdown for me, get around 70, 80 yards. That's what I'm expecting out of him. That would be great.
Definitely possible. On my end, I'm just again going with exactly what you did. I'm going with my best player here, DeAndre Hopkins. The matchup isn't the most favorable. I'll admit that. It could go either way. He's going up against, as what Anthony mentioned, a young secondary with the Seahawks. They ranked 3rd on ESPN rankings, their defense there, and what they allow to receivers, which is pretty impressive considering, I mean, nobody thought much of their defense coming in this season. I still think D-Hop is D-Hop, and he's going to get his points. He's going to get his targets. He's been getting 15 targets a game pretty much since he's came back. He's taken over his.
And I mean, that catch he made this week, I
1-5.
mean, you saw he's him. Like I think the suspension may be loud us yet, but like he is a top 5, like in terms of talent, like easily top 5, 10 receiver in the league. So
I think that suspension fueled him. I think it put some jet under him,
and honestly, for the long run in your seat, like for fantasy season, probably better because you think we see a lot of times with him, at least in Houston, he's banged up. He's hurt at the end of the season because of the volume he's getting and because of how important he is to the offense.
He isn't getting that yet.
He got the first 6 weeks off. Now he gets this. Now he's like starting to get into his rhythm. He was able to just like recover, rest, train.
Kind of helps him out. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'll say he just got more time to rest.
6 weeks of rest. Yeah.
Season's shorter now, and this hopefully, in theory, will prolong kind of his longevity and keep him healthy in your lineup for longer.
I agree. Hopefully. Yeah. I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
We will see
maybe
y'all later.
week with a guest or not. Maybe I don't know. We'll figure that out. But we
Right. Come back and you will see. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
All right.